Hello student, how are you? I hope you are all keeping good at home and you are continuing your online class regularly. As usual, we are continuing our double revision class. In the double revision class, we are um, setting our knowledge question and understanding question of creative question A and B. So that's according to the serial. We are continuing our class, and today we will select some knowledge question, and according to that we will try to suggest some knowledge question and understanding questions of chapter 8. That name is communication. So what are the questions we selected from this chapter? Let's see. Number one, what does communication mean? You know that communication is a process by which two person, two organization can interchange or can exchange their point of view, their um, views, or their any types of aspiration, can exchange their self. So this is the communication. Now coming to the next question, so what is the communication process? You know that communication process is a process by which sender can send his message through a media to receiver, and receiver by decoding he will understand it, and again he will put the feedback, and the feedback will come to the again sender. So this total process, step by step, it is called the communication process. Now coming to the 3, what is message? If we say what is message or news, we can say that message is the meaningful expression and meaningful views of sender, what he prepared to send to the receiver. So that is called the message. Now coming to the next, what is meant by feedback? You know that feedback is a things that the when the receiver get the information or get the message, and understanding that he replied to the sender, that reply will be called feedback. The response of what will create by the receiver, that will called feedback. Now coming to the next, what is internal communication? Internal communication is a communication system where the uh, or in within the organization, those who are the people who are working in the organization, they will communicate each other. So that is called the internal. So within the organizations, what the communications will be occur, that is called the internal communication. Now coming to the what is meant by downward communication. You know that downward communication means the communication comes to the down. It means that when the superior try to contact with the subordinate, that communication will be called the downward communication. Now coming to the another question, so what is meant by parallel communication? You know that parallel communication is a communication system where the communication is being happened among the same positions executives. Like this, all the managers when sit down and they communicate each other. So that will be called the parallel communication, because where the people who are communicating each other, they are in the same position. Now coming to the another question, so what is meant by external communication? You know that the organization, within the organizations, a party when try to communicate with the outside of the organization's third party, so that will be called the external communication. Now coming to the another question, what is informal communication? That you know that the communications which is made by personally without consent of organizational rules and regulation, that will be called informal communication. And the formal communication, what is the formal communication, which is made with following all the rules and regulation from the company or from the organization, that will be called the formal communication. Now coming to the what is mass communication. Mass communications is the communications process where the sender or the sender try to give the message to huge number of peoples, same message to give huge number of peoples among, so that will be called the mass communication. Now coming to what is verbal communication. Verbal communication is a communication where the word and letter is used to communicate with the two person or three person or among more person, where is used word or letter. Now coming to written communications. Written communications is a one type of verbal communication where the letter is written, so many words also written to make someone understand between two persons. If the communication happen, that will be called the verbal communication, sorry, written communication. Now coming to the oral communication, same it when someone used word or letter to communicate with the other person verbally, like this with voice, that will be called oral communication. Now coming to non-word communication. You know that non-word communication, without a word, someone try to show some body language, show some gesture, showing some shape. So that will be with a task. This way, if the communication happen between or among so many people, so that will be called the non-verbal communication. Now coming to the what is ICT. ICT is the information making or the gathering or exchanging information, storing informations, and accessing information. That will be called the ICT or informations and communication technology. Now coming to the what is email? Email, the full form is email is electronic mail. It means that the one type of written communication that is happened by the help of internet, and with two ID they can with server ID that can intercept their written documents and their files. Now coming to the 18 question number. So what is voicemail? So voicemail is also same as the mail service, but here is only used voice, recording voice that will be sent to the another person. What is fax? You know that fax full meaning is fractional Xerox copy, and this fractional as the Xerox copy that is sent by a machine. Fax is a machine, and when someone try to send fax, that times another site or another machine that is connected with this machine with a telephone line. When someone try to do some fax, that times they will put the another machine's fax number, and they will put their documents on the fax machine, that will be copied and that will be sent to the that machine. Now coming to the what is teleconferencing. You know that tele means to stay far away, and conferencing means to communicate each other. So staying far and communicate to each other, this is called the teleconferencing. Now coming to the another question, what is audio conferencing? Audio conferencing is one kinds of teleconferencing, means when someone sitting at home and try to call other, and so many peoples they can group call, and this group call is called audio conferencing. What is video conferencing? Video conference is also same, but one thing is different. There will be, they will see each other with the video call, so that will be called video conferencing. In the audio conferencing, that will be audio call. Now coming to What is internet? You know that internet is a on type of connected many in computer with the net or internet network, that is called internet. What is meant by short message service? Short message service is a short message which is given through a mobile phone, and their character maximum character will be 150. That short information that is provided through the mobile phone, that will be called short message service, SMS. And now coming to the MMS. Do you know the MMS? It's a multi-media message service. There is not only word, here also can send any picture, image, or any video can be sent to the another mobile phone. That will be called MMS. Now coming to the encoding and decoding. You know that when the sender try to arrange or try to um, decorate his point of view with a line, that will be called encoding. But when the receiver hears the message and he will try to understand and he will try to set their arrange their word with their own way, that will be called decoding. Now coming to the another question, which makes the decision making easier? Communication, that will be the effective communication. Explain how international relation develop through business communication. Yes, when two parties or three parties do their business communication, then automatically our international relations will be increased by the help of effective communication. On who is effective communication must depends. You know that's the decoding. When it is decoding correctly, that times feedback also will be correct, and the fruitful communications also be ensured. Now coming to how does communication accelerate the motivation of staff? Yes, when the staffs or employees of the organization, they can communicate each others with a positive way. They can get the update of the works from the staff of the institutions. Then they will get update and they will try to compete each others by the communication. That is why it will be motivation factor for them. Now coming to the what are the sender and recipient. You know that in a communication process, who send message, that is called sender, and who receive message, that is called recipient. Linguistic barrier. You know that when sender and the receiver has problems with understanding language, that will be called linguistic barrier. Which stage is the communication process final? You know that the with the feedback, the communication process will be ended. So that is why it is the last part or last stage of the communication is feedback. Now, tell me about the mobile phone. You know that mobile phone is a small device through which you can contact with the other person who are far away with the network, mobile network. Now coming to the what is daily communication. You know that daily communication is every day the peoples or employees in organizations, they can communicate each other for the purpose of their organizational activities. So that will be called the daily communication. So this is and another thing is what is the two-way communication. You know that two-way communication, when the sender question to the recipient will answer, and also recipient will question to the sender and sender will give response and reply. That will be the two-way communication, and this will be the effective communication. So students, from this chapter 8, communication, named communication, this is all if you did it very carefully, or if you a very good knowledge over this 36 question, then I hope that you will be able to answer any types of MCQ and the creative questions in the exam what will come. So I hope you will try hard to learn these questions very effectively. And for today, that is all. And we'll see you again for with the another topics. And till then, stay home and stay safe. Thank you all.